What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the LA Soccer Hub Show. We're talking MLS Cup playoffs. A lot going on this week. I mean, the playoffs have been going crazy. I mean, a lot of thoughts of goals, especially out here in LA. We got to see LAFC versus Vancouver. Obviously, 7 goals in this game. Who would have thought? It was exciting. Let's bring in Justin Ruderman. Justin, how you doing?
Doing well, man. Yeah, playoffs underway, best of three underway. We're gonna get into it. It's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, and I think to me it was like, well, just being at the game, I was like, there's just a lot going on this weekend. Just you got the World Series going on, obviously NFL is going on. Basketball started, so like in October you kind of have essentially almost every sport going on, and just saw obviously footy and everything, but it was just it's so many things going on around the same time, and obviously it was also Halloween weekend. Did you do anything for Halloween?
Nah, not really. I'm not a Halloween person so much.
What? Why not?
I don't know. I've just never been like a costume person, you know? Like I'll go and go to the party or whatever, but I'm not the guy who's gonna like dress up and win a costume contest.
Well, I mean, you don't gotta go all out, but you can dress up as,
I'm the
Catherine
guy who
this
will
year or
like
whoever.
I'm the guy who will use whatever's in his closet and come up with something.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah,
You
yeah,
don't
yeah.
gotta get that creative. I
But
actually like
busy on
Halloween.
Saturday night, man. Not all of us can be some Yahoo Sports writer and go party after the game.
That's funny. Well, you should because it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, bro. You gotta go. I feel like Halloween's like one of those holidays that you gotta go out there and enjoy it and celebrate it. And I don't know. I mean, dress up as a soccer player, probably the easiest thing.
There you go. That'll do it. Yeah, no, I mean Saturday night, man. We were working.
When it comes to fun, Justin, you know,
I
Justin doesn't
prioritized my job. Yeah.
You can do both, bro. Come on. You can do both. The parties
Uh,
don't start till like 10, 11 o'clock at night. You know.
that's when Justin's writing his articles for his loyal subscribers.
Yeah, that's true. You get the look. You can get the job done, and then if you have time after that, you go out. I'm not
There you
saying
go.
sacrifice. I'm not saying sacrifice.
I
I'm
agree with
saying
you. I agree with you, Gio.
okay. Let's talk about this game since no fun Justin is around today. Justin clearly doesn't. Oh, by the way,
What did
I
you
ended up
do,
going to.
Gio? Tell me about your activities.
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. I ended up going. I went out to. I usually don't go out, but to West Hollywood. But I went to West Hollywood. And I went out there because that's the time of year that it's like, at least for me, it's like the funnest. It's like all the bars, clubs, and everything are just like open, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and it was just going. I went with a couple friends, just went out there, you know. But I went Friday. I went Friday before the game. I went Friday.
I see. I see. So my question then is, how much did this Halloween weekend, all of these other events going on, whether NBA, NFL, etc., MLB playoffs, how much did that contribute actually to the lack of fans we saw at BMO Stadium? Or was it really a result of the best of three and people thinking, well, the first game doesn't matter? How much is attributed to each of those?
Well, that's my point. That's my point. That's what I was gonna bring up. I think it has to do a lot. I think it's just one of those with so many things just different going on. I feel like, and especially when it's Halloween weekend, those are the events people tend to have parties or host parties or want to go to parties. And yeah, there wasn't that many folks at BMO Stadium, and it didn't really get full, And I think it's obviously the diehards are always going to be there. They're always going to show and support their club. And obviously us that we're at pretty much every single game. But I wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't surprised when I pulled up, and it was also a 5 o'clock game. So that kind of, I want to say that kind of maybe throws it off too, because it's a little earlier than what we used to, opposed to like the 7 o'clock game. So pulling up to the stadium around like what I forgot what time I pulled up, like 4 or whatever.
Mhm.
It felt a little odd because I'm so used to getting there at like 6 or whatever. It was just a little odd for me because I've been so accustomed to coming at a certain time and coming in a couple hours earlier. It felt a little weird for me. But I think just the Halloween weekend also had a lot of things to do with it because people are planning. You know, you got if you're wearing a costume, it takes you a little bit more time and all the and if you're setting up a house or you're going to different spots, it's a whole thing that it's almost you got to plan out like quite a few hours for this. And yeah, maybe going to an LAFC game, if you have plans, if you're hosting things, it may get in the way of those things.
That's a great point, and the timing thing is actually a great point as well, not just because it was 5 p.m. and early for, a normal game start, but Google listed the game as 6 p.m., and it confused a lot of people. I
Mm.
know a few LAFC fans at least expected to get out of work at 5 p.m., drive the hour, and get there for kickoff, and therefore were late for the game because they, thought that they should trust Google, and Google was wrong. And for that reason, a lot of websites go off of what Google says. A lot of websites had it down as a 6 p.m. kickoff, which is a very big mistake to make on a playoff game.
Yeah, no, and it's yeah, I didn't know that because I even when I don't know if and I didn't look at Google. I think I just got the email of the
Yeah.
information. But yeah, when that throws that could be another thing that threw people off. But yeah, 6 o'clock
Yeah,
game.
I posted on Twitter about it because I saw people like, "Oh, 5 p.m." I was like, "It's not 5 p.m. I mean, it's not 6 p.m. Yeah, it's 5 p.m. start." So, yeah, very interesting one. But once it got into the stadium, it was a good game. Once the game got kicked off, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was a good game. I mean, 4 goals in the first half. It was pretty good. Vancouver looked good. I know they ended up getting punished in the second half, but they looked really, really good in that first half. Just like anytime LAFC scored, they just had an answer. And then Boanga did his thing, I think, in the second goal. But yeah, I was surprised that the game finished the way it did because it was a lot closer in that first half.
Yeah, I think that it was very interesting to me because I didn't expect that game to be played the way it was. I expected to have Vancouver sit in a mid to low block for especially those first 20, 25 minutes there. You don't want to allow LAFC to score that first goal. We all know that. But if you allow them to score it early as well, they're going to then start piling on the goals, which you saw, right? But I think that Vancouver were very willing to go head to head with LAFC, no fear at all for minute one. As you say, they were just playing a very intense style of brand of football. They were overloading that midfield. They were having no problems pushing numbers forward. But they got punished because of it. And it's admirable that you look at Vancouver and they say, we're not scared of LAFC. We can go play with them. We think we're just as good, right? That is an admirable strategy. But when the second half, then you get battered, you think, well, maybe it wasn't the right one.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, things definitely changed there in that second half. Now obviously, like I think the good thing is like we saw like Bwanga, he's still continuing what he's doing. That first goal was just insane. And you also have Ryan Hollingshead score a brace, and off of like I think both of them were off the set pieces, if I remember correctly. Um, and he did that obviously a lot more last year than he's done it this year to score goals for LAFC. But I think when you have other people score goals for you, and then obviously Murillo as well with the header. I think that's what when you get a whole team effort involved in a game like this and they contribute. I think that's when LAFC obviously it's at its best, and especially from these set pieces because I think it's been a while that we've seen multiple goals from set pieces from LAFC when we were so accustomed. I want to say last season when with a couple other players, just being able to see that, and I think this is the type of LAFC that you want to see, and this is the type of LAFC that you hope to see for the playoffs because obviously they want to be back to back champions. But there's so much going on, but I think this was a perfect first game for them.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And the set pieces obviously were the big calling card there for LFC. 4 of their 5 goals coming from set pieces. It was just a dominant performance. And I kind of wrote about that a little bit in my preview where I said, Vancouver are not a very physical team, one of the least in MLS. And if you want to impose yourself on that team, set pieces are a hell of a way to do it, right? You can just physically dominate a team that way. And I think that LAFC showed that. And you think of the fact, well, Mark Dos Santos, of course, the man in charge of LAFC's set pieces and dissecting them and planning them all out, Well, he was the Vancouver Whitecaps head coach at one point, right? So he knows them a little bit and knows the way that they tick, the things that they want to do. So he obviously has exploited it, and we'll be looking to do the same thing at BC Place. But yeah, as you say, it's important to see a committee, right? Goals by committee, and I think that that's been crucial because in MLS play, Vela and Bouanga, obviously mainly Bouanga, but Vela too, have contributed to over 80% of LAFC goals. And when you see goals from Ryan Hollingshead, you see a goal directly from a corner from Bogusz to Murillo that neither are involved in. It's great to see those things because that's how LAFC are gonna get themselves forward if they can get help from elsewhere besides Denny Bouanga and Carlos Vela. That is how they're going to potentially have a shot at repeating, like you say. So yeah, also a cool note in my opinion, that was Murillo's first goal since 2022 MLS Cup.
Oh wow, yeah, that's right. Because
Yeah.
he's dealt with some injuries this season, and he hasn't been able. You know, he hasn't been as on the field as much as I think LAFC would like him. And no, it's good. It's good because he's a big body. Obviously, he has that height, and for him to score, and also Cheeky Palacios with the goal, with the celebrations, he did like the little smackdown move
RKO,
at
yeah.
WD. Yeah, the RKO.
Yeah. No, that was funny. Yeah, Palacios, man, those two are funny guys. They have a great relationship. It's fun to see them in their celebrations, and yeah, Ryan too, as you say, he's a goal scorer, man. He's the third highest goal scorer on the team now. Think about that, really crazy, right? And
That is
seven,
crazy.
yeah, seven in all competitions, right? And you say it's like, oh, well, it seemed like last year was his goal scoring year. Well, he has just as many this year. It's just that they all have come in the past 2 months, right? 5 of his 7 goals in all competitions have been in the last 2 months. So he's just been pouring it on at the end of the season. Ironically, since I told him about that Graham Zusi record, which by the way, postseason goals don't count for, unfortunately. But yeah, he's been killing it. And he said, there's just a different confidence for him. Things have been going very well for him off the field. That translates to on the field. And if you have that confidence flowing, it's only going to help out.
Yeah, no, and I think, and you mentioned a great point, and I think also like this team is looking like they're having fun again. You
Mm.
know, they're looking like they're having fun, and I think the last time, a couple months, I think the RSL game when they lost to RSL, there was just a lot going on with the club, and just they didn't look as confident. And I think after this win, you saw, like, obviously anytime you win like this, but like you see the camaraderie between the players, you see how much they really enjoyed playing with each other, scoring these goals, obviously, and that's what you want to see and what you want to have in these playoffs. So yeah, it's looking good. The next game is going to be, I was just looking here, next week. I mean, next
Sunday.
Sunday. That is crazy. I didn't realize how spread out these games were going to be. Especially with the best of 3 series. That's insane.
Yeah, it's very interesting because you go Saturday all the way to Sunday, and then game 3 would be Thursday, should it be necessary, back at BMO Stadium. Yeah, weird scheduling all around for sure. But, that also means that there's not really a need for rotation. You're going to have probably the same starting 11s going right back against each other. And it's going to be interesting because that's not something we really see in football, where you have to just go back again and again for the third straight game against Vancouver and potentially a fourth straight game against Vancouver. Would be very interesting, right? Because LAFC already put that same 11 back in the first playoff game as they did on decision day. So yeah, very similar looks that they're just going again and again against the same team. And yeah, it's very interesting. But no, the smile thing I think is a good point that you bring up, because Sharundalo brought it up as well. It can be about repetition on the training field, but it's also about having everybody smiling and happy on game day and enjoying their football. That's what Sharundalo said after the game. It's a game that we all played since we were kids, right? And that's what it should be. If you're enjoying it, that's going to help. It's not the only thing. It's not all fun and games, Sharundalo said, but that definitely helps, and he's been seeing it as of recently.
Yeah, yeah. Just to, I guess, just to finish off that, once you're enjoying it, yeah, it's a whole different thing, because all the work they've been putting in this season, the training, like you said, sometimes I feel like it could just be like seem repetitive, but you want to be able to enjoy those moments when those moments are there, right? And see them having fun. And that's what really stood out to me when I saw all those the celebrations and everything, like, because this team is this team always scores goals, but sometimes I think, the celebration and the camaraderie is what really
And the
stood out. And I think
The
Right?
Boanga and Vela celebration as well, just to add on there,
Yep.
is, Vela jumped into Boanga's arms. We talked, I think, a couple months ago about how is their relationship developing. It is there. They are
Yeah,
loving
yeah,
playing
yeah.
with each other.
Yeah, no, obviously that's what to me stood out. Is obviously that celebration. I think and then that's what I was referring to.
Hmm.
Um, just seeing them too, because obviously early in the season there was it looked like there was a little riff right there, right when Bouanga missed him on the pass, and Vela's reaction. But I think all that it is forgiven. You look the other way, especially when you're looking to win a championship, you don't hold on to those things, and obviously they look like they're enjoying playing with each other, and which is the most important thing. Let's look a little bit about these scores around the league. Obviously, I know you pay close attention. I think some of the ones that stood out, obviously, Philadelphia beat New England 3-1. Houston in a close one with RSL, they won 2-1. Cincinnati, man, Cincinnati's just been unreal this season, 3-0. The biggest one was Kansas City beating St. Louis 4-1 at their place. What
Yeah.
what what do you think of these other scores?
Yeah, so some very interesting games for sure. I think that, there was maybe not as much of that sitting back that we would have expected, but I think that it has worked for the away teams. RSL didn't get the win, right? But they were going 1-1 late into the game because they went in with a very defensive sit back strategy, try and hit on the counter. We're going to bring in our super subs and try and make an impact in the second half. It worked out really, really well for them. Unfortunately, Amine Bassi said, "No, I'm going to go and win this game for the Houston Dynamo." But it was the best strategy, I think, for RSL, and nearly got them through. Kansas City, on the other hand, that's exactly what they did. They went into St. Louis and said, "We're going to make you hold the ball because you don't want the ball. We want the ball. But guess what? If we know that you don't want the ball, you want to hit on the counterattack, and we force your possession, that makes things a lot more difficult for St. Louis City. We've seen that throughout the season. And Sporting Kansas City hit on that counterattack once they got, the one goal, and then you St. Louis immediately leveled the game, right? And you felt like, well, this is St. Louis, right? They score one and then they're going to score two more in the next 10 minutes, right? That's what they've been doing all season. But no, SKC go and respond. They go up 3-1 by halftime with an absolute banger from Gadi Kinda, by the way. And yeah, just an incredible performance. I will say one thing. This actually makes me like the best of three slightly more. I mean, it is kind of the only positive I see from this best of three, because I'm somebody who doesn't love the fact that a number one seed, clearly the best team in the Western Conference this year, would get knocked out because of one horrible performance, right? It was a dreadful performance from St. Louis. But I don't think that they should be knocked out because of one. I like the fact that they have a chance now to go to Kansas City, go and win that game, and come back. It's a tough task to go and win two straight games, obviously, but they have a chance to redeem themselves from that very, very poor performance, which I do actually like in that sense, for the higher seeds.
Yeah, I still don't like it. I wish it was No, I get it. I still don't like it. I don't know. But yeah, if it's a two leg, and I think, but also like this was my kind of like concern about St. Louis at the start of the year, or when they were getting hot, right? I was like, how are they gonna do in the playoffs, right?
Hmm.
Obviously, they're lucky that this is the best of three. But I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that they got lost by that much. But I'm not surprised that they lost, because we've seen like typically when your teams go in the playoffs, and it's a different feel. The intensity is just a lot more. It's just a lot more, right? We even saw it. I've even seen it when LAFC, was it their first year in the playoffs? They lost to, I want to say, RSL. I forgot who
Yep.
they lost
Yep.
to in the
Yep.
first round,
RSL.
and they were a higher seed. I want to say they were the first or second seed, and they lost to RSL in that first round. Um, and I've seen this with other teams, so I wanted to see how they would do against the intensity, and I wouldn't be surprised now that they go travel to Kansas City, that they may not come out of this. But I mean, they got the weapons to do it, but they are lucky that it's the best of three, because if it was the best of two, it'd be kind of like an
Mm.
almost difficult task to come back from that. But to your point, this does add a lot to the drama and excitement, right? It's gonna tune you in to the next games, and we'll have to see how these play out. with that. But yeah, no, it's been a good set of games. Obviously, today there's Orlando versus Nashville, and then
It's
Seattle
gonna be a great
versus
one.
Dallas.
I,
Obviously, if
yeah.
LAFC win, they got to go up and play Seattle. I think that obviously you don't want to overlook Vancouver. There's still another game to play. Right, you still got to go up to Canada and go play one more game. But I think that Seattle game is gonna be it. Is gonna be if they got to get through Seattle, and we know LAFC in the playoffs against Seattle has not been good.
Overlooking Dallas there too. No, I
True. I
get
am
no, I get
overlooking
it.
Dallas, but
I
Dallas is
get
on
it.
the road.
Seattle, huge favorites there, I think as well. Orlando, Nashville, a lot closer actually to me. I think that's going to be a great one. I picked Nashville in my bracket. But no, it's a great point you make about St. Louis because it's easy to play when everybody expects you to lose, right? And that's been kind of how they came into the season. No expectations. It's easy to just play free flowing football when there's no expectations on your back. But now that all the expectations are loaded onto you to go and win the game, you're expected to go and not only win the game but control the game. It's a whole different mentality going to the game. And yeah, St. Louis couldn't handle it in game one. Now they're going to have to go and try and deal with it in an away stadium in game two. Going to be interesting.
Yeah. Well, look, guys, short pod today. That's all we had. That's all the time we had today. Anything else you'd like to add before we let you go, Justin?
No, I don't think so. Just yeah, tune into these other MLS playoff games. I think that it's going to be really entertaining. If you want to support MLS, show Apple that you'd rather watch MLS playoffs than the World Series.
That's true. Lots going on today and this week of sports. But yeah, you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for tuning in. Happy Halloween. Obviously, if you're celebrating on Tuesday, don't be like no fun, Justin, and don't celebrate or don't go out. Don't make sure to give candy to the kids that come up to your door. If you dress up, I applaud you. It's always more fun when you dress up and you look a little like a fool a little bit. You don't have to go out all out, but it's fun. It's the holidays. It's the holiday season. Why not?
I do have one parting note. Manchester is blue.
This guy. And he will go as Jack Grealish on Tuesday, as you can see here.
Love it.
All right, for Justin, this is Jill. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye, everybody.